Today, I really want to look at women in leadership in 2013 and beyond. And kind of as a flashback, it was interesting. I was thinking about women in the business world. And I remember in the 1970s, I absolutely loved Gloria Steinem. I thought she was just unbelievable. I wanted to be like her. In fact, I wanted to burn all my bras, but my mom actually told me it was not a good idea, which was good. But I realized that she had a huge influence on me and why I went into business. Throughout high school and college, I was great at math and marketing, and I really knew that the business world was where I wanted to be. My dad was also in business, and I admired him, and I really thought it was just the place to really break in, because not many women were in the business world. In fact, I laughed. When I graduated college, we were actually wearing navy blue suits with a stiff white shirt, and I had a red or blue bow tie, and probably the ugliest shoes on the planet. But we were actually told, basically, to look like men to fit into the men's world. And I think it's interesting now because as today I wear a very colorful shirt, and I'm proud to say I'm wearing comfortable shoes because of my foot, but I like to wear color. I really hated myself back then. And today, women are doing better than ever. If we looked at it, women are thriving. In 2009, for the first time in American history, the workforce tipped in favor of women. In the next 10 years, of the 15 professions expected to grow, women will dominate 12 of those. It was also interesting, as I read, in the 1980s, women, for the first time, were graduating college at the same rate that men were. And now it's about 4 women to 2 men graduating college. And in one book, I want to read this quote. I found this just awe-inspiring, is women's dominance on college campuses is probably the strangest and most profound change of the century, even more so because it's happening around the world. So when we look at this and we look at the difference of the professions, where are all the women in leadership? It really has become a real question for me, and what is holding them back? And one of the ways I looked is I wanted to look at the female brain. And this is a wonderful book by Lou Anne Brizendine. And she also is a medical doctor, and she studied the differences between a male's brain and a female's brain, and also how hormones reflect our brain throughout our lives. And this is something that she found, is that women overall have a better outstanding verbal agility. We also have an ability to connect deeply in friendship, much more so than men. We have a near psychic ability to read faces and tone of voice for emotions and state of mind. And when you look at these aptitudes, I kept thinking to myself, look at those pieces. Wouldn't that be great in a boardroom? Wouldn't that be great as the head of a country? It really is amazing. And even the last one I like more than anything, and I think when we look at this world, is the ability to diffuse conflict. Men tend to run away from conflict, and women are there. They want to get in it, and they want to diffuse the conflict. So what's up? What's getting in our way? There are a number of factors that get in their way. And this was a book that I recently read. Sheryl Sandberg, the COO of Facebook, she wrote the book Lean In. And I absolutely love this book because she's also bringing it up. And one of the things she said that resonated with me, I think the fact that women in leadership, it's really stalled. We kind of came into the market in the 70s and 80s, and there really hasn't been much of a change. In fact, when you look at it, right now, only 21 of the Fortune 500 CEOs are women. Only 14% hold executive officer positions. 17% of the board seats are women. And only 18% of our elected congressional officials. This, to me, is just ghastly. It's got to change. It really has got to change. So we look at what's in our way. Sheryl talked about interior. I love this because I think in our ways sometimes we still feel like that little girl. But a lot of what's keeping us back are internal barriers. We underestimate ourselves. I can't tell you how many times that I've come across this in coaching, even with C-level women, is they still feel that they're a fraud, that somebody's going to find out they don't have the skills. In fact, one of the stories I said, when a man goes for a job, he feels if he has like 60% of the qualities, he'll go for it. Women won't go for a job unless they feel they have 100% of the qualities. We're really underestimating ourselves. We also downplay, praise, or deny it. I remember in advertising, I had won an award of one of the best reps in the country by Advertising Age. I was actually embarrassed by it, and I kept thinking to myself, do you think they only talked to one person? Like, I didn't even think in my mind that it was more than one person that elected me to that role. And I think we as women do that. The other part is we want to be liked. This goes back so much, even in the research, of the brain research that she showed, is that women are much more social from a very young age. We want to be liked. I also looked at a quote that I loved from the book, Women Don't Get Corner Offices, is that we're just too accommodating, we're too nice. Now, I'm not telling you that we have to be mean, but we have to let go of that. So we really think about it. One of the things I say is, you know, what are we going to do? I say it's time to stand up. Let's take that quote, I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore. And no, I'm not really saying it's time to get mad, but I do think it's time to stand up. I think we've been sitting down too long. And as I read through the books and really studied this, a lot of the books are actually talking about this stalling, and a lot of people are getting involved, which I'm happy to see. But what I also didn't see was too much of advice to help you get through this. So today, that's the last part I kind of want to do with this. And I really thought about it is, in a sense of women, what would do better than anything else is we care. So let's look at what I say is the care to succeed. And I had 4 C's under C. One was confidence. And I will tell you, we've talked a little bit about that today, but what I have all my clients do is I have them take an assessment called Kolbe. And Kolbe, it lets me know and let they know who they are to their core from the moment they're born to their later, and really understand what those strengths are. And then I have them take Realize 2, which gives them a snapshot of where they are today and what their strengths are today. And then what we really do is work with really being confident in your strengths. I have them put it on LinkedIn. I have them put it on their resume. I actually have them put it up in their office, so it's visually there, and it's part of the framework of what they do in confidence. The other one was communication. One of the pieces here is I have them communicate their strengths. I don't think people understand their strengths, and we need to tell and be very communicative about what we do. I also feel that people have a fear of communication. I had worked with about 30 people in sales last year and trying to develop their goals for the year. And I can't tell you of these women, and they were ages 21 to 60, they did not want to communicate up or down. They thought if they worked hard, they would do just fine. That's not going to work anymore. You need to have a regular communication about your successes, what you're doing, and making sure that everybody hears what you have to say. The next is collaboration. I feel that over the last 5 years, when the economy really went south, everybody became me-focused. I'm really working with people of collaborating again. I think it's something that you have to do every day and be conscious about what you're doing. I also feel collaboration is very important. I work with a CFO of a company, and her team is not really the greatest team. And every time I coach her, it tends to come back to 1 or 2 individuals. If you don't have good people on your team, you're not going to do well. And what I always say is build your dream team. Pick your team, collaborate, hire people who fill your voids so you don't have to do it. We as women also want to be a superwoman and think that we have to do it all. I say not at all. Collaborate, get the right team, and have them help you succeed so you help them succeed. And then the last C I had was community. And I believe that we as women have to get together more. I think you should have, within your workspace, your own community that you get together and talk about problems and how you solve them. But I also think you need to do them outside of your workplace, whether it's a daycare issue or something else. Talk to other people. Again, we don't have to have the solutions. It's time to give up the fact that we need to know everything. We need to put people around us that know things. The next in my care to succeed was A, and the first one was accountability. We absolutely must have goals, and we must pick an accountability partner. If we don't have goals, we really are going to be stalled. And accountability partners ensures that you're going to reach those goals. It's very important to have those and make sure you keep that as part of your life. The next I have is advocate. We as women advocate for others so well, but again, we're brainwashed not to sell our own stories. I think it's important for every success, small to large, that you tell everyone around you. One, it's a teaching lesson, it's not bragging, and secondly, it's letting people know what you're good at. The other one is ask, and I'm really passionate about the ask part of it. What I say to people is that a lot of people are not asking for what they need. You don't ask for raises. You don't ask for the next job. I am challenging you as women and as men to ask for more than what you think. It's very interesting because my sister works for a Fortune 500 company, and she works in the HR department. And recently she said to me, you know, when we hire somebody, we don't give insurance to that person for the first 90 days we're there. But we know as an inside policy in our company, if anybody asks, we'll give it to them. Think of what you're not asking for and you don't get. It's kind of evil to think about that, but it really begs the question, what could you be asking for? Ask for greater raises, ask for a corner office, ask what you need. You don't know. The worst thing they can do is say no. And the last is aim higher. I just feel this is something, I knew I always wanted to stay in Chicago, which probably limited me somewhat, but I knew I wanted to be a VP of the Midwest region. I got that, but I also stopped there, and I regret that a little bit. So aim for the top. I can't tell you how many times I worked for organizations, and I really felt, God, I could run this company so much better if they just did this. Well, start having those conversations, and then also aim yourself higher. Think of yourself as the head of the company, and dream of that day when you're in front of shareholders and they're all standing clapping because you've beat expectations. Aim higher. It really goes a long way. R is my favorite one, and probably the most important, is relationships. And I think with the communication relationships, these are the two that are most important to me, and I'm a big believer in relationships. And what you need to do is have a system that you have to make and keep intentional relationships. I have a system where I have people that I've worked with, and people who have worked for me, people that I've met, and I keep intentional relationships with them. I have a touch point with them once a month. Relationships are something we need, and a lot of people don't do that, not only just in general, but I have my clients do it inside their company and outside their company, because we're going to have multiple careers. Inside the company, you should not only know your boss well, but know your boss's boss. Know your peers, figure out how they're doing it across the country, and also have relationships with people under you. Listen to what they have to say. Relationships is absolutely the key to success. And then finally with E, I did emotions and empathy. Emotions, it's okay for women to show emotions at work. In fact, a lot of the research shows if you show your emotions, people are much more likely going to want to work for you. I remember I had one person that was working for me who said, "You're so tough on the outside, but so gooey on the inside." And I thought, I really need to be a little bit more gooey and let people know that side of me, because that's the side that's truly me. So it's okay to show emotions. It's okay to cry. It actually can motivate people. Don't be afraid of it. And last but not least is empathy. I've done 360s for a firm for over 5 years, and this comes up more and more, is just nobody gets listened to. I think as a leader, you can't spend all your time, but talk to people and really listen to them. That's what they desire in the job. So when we look at all this, it's time for the fellow feminists to actually get up and go take care. Take care of yourself, take care of your sisters, take care of one another, and take care on your way to greater leadership. Thank you.